What's the current state of the Chinese real estate market? To answer that, we need to understand the boom in China first. Our tale begins with China's remarkable economic growth over the last few decades. The country has experienced a transformation like no other, with an economy that has shifted from agrarian to industrial. This evolution has led to the large-scale urbanization process, as millions of citizens migrated from the countryside to city centers, seeking better opportunities and lifestyles. This migration has brought about a surge in the demand for housing, creating a robust market for home buying and selling. And the Chinese government, always eager to support growth, poured resources into the real estate sector, further invigorating it. Now, to put things in perspective, this housing market was not a small slice of the economy. Oh no, it was a key player constituting about a third of China's GDP. Yes, you heard right, a third. This is a market that wasn't just booming, it was skyrocketing. With such a flourishing market, it was only a matter of time before large companies would rise to take advantage of the opportunity. And they did, with the market seeing the emergence of megacorporations, each vying for a piece of the lucrative pie. These companies didn't just build houses, they built entire cities, transforming landscapes and skylines. They became powerhouses of the Chinese economy, their influence reaching far and wide. Among these giants, one company stood out, a company that not only rode the wave but helped shape it, a company that quickly became one of the leading players in the sector. This company was none other than Evergrande. Founded in Shenzhen by Xu Jiayin in 1996, Evergrande capitalized on the boom, quickly rising through the ranks to become a dominant force in the industry. This boom led to the emergence of large companies, among them Evergrande. And with that, we've set the stage for what's to come. So buckle up, because this ride is just getting started. Evergrande, founded in 1996 by Xu Jiayin, swiftly became a leading player in the real estate sector. Born in the bustling tech hub of Shenzhen, Evergrande was a child of China's economic boom, a period marked by the rapid urban migration of the population and a skyrocketing real estate market. This company quickly capitalized on this trend, springboarding from a startup to an industry titan in a remarkably short time. By the early 2000s, Evergrande was not just a name in the real estate sector, it was the name. It managed to stand head and shoulders above its competition, thanks largely to its ability to tap into the burgeoning demand for urban housing and its knack for building properties that resonated with the aspirations of China's rising middle class. The year 2009 marked a turning point for Evergrande as it went public, being listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. This move not only boosted its financial prowess, but also elevated its status on the global stage. With an influx of capital at its disposal, Evergrande began to diversify its portfolio, venturing into sectors beyond real estate. This diversification saw Evergrande making investments in health, dipping its toes into the world of football, and even exploring the tourism industry. This strategic move was a clear indication of Evergrande's ambition to become a conglomerate, a force to be reckoned with across a myriad of sectors. However, as the real estate market bubble began to deflate in 2017, Evergrande remained seemingly unperturbed. Rather than bracing for the potential fallout, Evergrande continued to behave as if it was business as usual. Despite the warning signs, the company pressed on, seemingly oblivious to the storm clouds gathering on the horizon. In the face of a deflating real estate bubble, Evergrande stood tall, confident, and perhaps a little too complacent. When demand for new homes began to decline, Evergrande did not take immediate protective measures. This casual approach to a changing market landscape was the first step towards a downward spiral. As the demand for homes began to plummet, Evergrande's alternative investments, which included ventures in health, football, and tourism, failed to provide the financial cushion the company had banked on. This failure of alternative investments was akin to a double-edged sword. On one side, the real estate giant was facing a steep decline in its primary revenue source, the home market. On the other side, the investments it had diversified into were not yielding expected returns. The company found itself submerged in a sea of debt, gasping for financial air. In the midst of this tumultuous period, the Chinese government introduced a regulation known as the Three Red Lines policy. This policy outlined three financial parameters that tightened the ease of access to credit. It was like a strict teacher enforcing discipline in a rowdy classroom. This policy aimed to ensure financial discipline among real estate companies, preventing them from over-leveraging themselves and thereby reducing the risk of a financial crisis. For Evergrande, this policy was a hard blow. The company, already struggling with a mountain of debt and dwindling revenues, was suddenly denied the easy access to credit it had grown accustomed to. It was like a swimmer, already struggling to stay afloat, suddenly having his floaters taken away. Without new loans, Evergrande found itself in a financial gridlock. The engine of its operations, fed by constant inflow of credit, began to sputter and choke. The company was left with hundreds of construction sites, once bustling with activity, now eerily silent and at a standstill. These unfinished skeletons of buildings stood as stark reminders of a boom that had gone bust. Evergrande found itself stuck, unable to secure new loans, and with hundreds of construction sites at a standstill. The once giant of the real estate world was now on shaky ground, teetering on the brink of a financial abyss. In the summer of 2023, Evergrande failed to pay some of its debtors and began bankruptcy proceedings. This marked a significant moment in the history of China's real estate sector. Evergrande, once a shining star in the booming market, was now sinking into a deep abyss of financial turmoil. The impact of Evergrande's bankruptcy was felt far and wide. It sent shockwaves through China's real estate market, which was already teetering on the edge of a precipice. This was not just a company going under, this was a symbol of China's economic prowess facing a downfall. It's worth noting that Evergrande was not just a local player. The company had its fingers in many pies, reaching out to sectors like health, football, and tourism. Its downfall, therefore, had far-reaching implications, affecting various sectors and potentially sparking a domino effect. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. This situation bears a striking resemblance to the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis. Just like the subprime borrowers in the United States, Evergrande overextended itself, fueled by easy credit and an overly optimistic view of the market. And just like in 2008, when the bubble burst, it led to a financial crisis. However, there's an added layer of complexity here. The Chinese government's Three Red Lines policy, aimed at tightening the access to credit, left Evergrande with no lifeline. No new loans meant no way to restart the engine. The hundreds of construction sites left at a standstill were a testament to this grim reality. The global implications of Evergrande's bankruptcy could be significant. China's real estate market, being a third of the country's GDP, is not an isolated ecosystem. A crisis here could send ripples across the global financial market. It's unclear whether the Chinese real estate market crisis will drag the financial market with it, but the potential consequences could be significant. As the world watches this unfolding crisis, the hope is for a soft landing rather than a catastrophic crash. But only time will tell the true impact of Evergrande's failure. So, what does this mean for the Chinese real estate market and the global economy? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? In our journey, we've traversed the landscape of China's economic boom, a period of unparalleled growth that transformed the nation's economy. We've witnessed the rise of the real estate sector, a market that at its peak was worth a staggering third of China's GDP. And at the heart of this surge was Evergrande, a company propelled to the forefront of the industry, diversifying its portfolio to include investments in health, football, and tourism. However, as we've seen, the bubble couldn't keep expanding indefinitely. By 2017, the real estate market began to deflate, and companies in the sector, Evergrande included, were caught off guard. Demand for new homes dwindled, alternative investments floundered, and Evergrande found itself in dire straits, submerged in debt and hoping for a government bailout that never came. Instead, the government introduced the Three Red Lines policy, tightening the access to credit and leaving Evergrande on its knees. Construction sites across the country came to a standstill, and by the summer of 2023, Evergrande failed to repay some of its debtors, instigating bankruptcy proceedings. The echoes of the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis are hard to ignore, raising concerns about whether China's real estate market crisis could ripple across the global financial market. The potential implications are vast, and the truth is we're still in the thick of it, attempting to navigate the twists and turns of this economic tumult. While the future remains uncertain, one thing is clear. The Chinese real estate crisis, especially the Evergrande case, will be a key factor in shaping global economic trends. This saga serves as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of our world economy, and the aftershocks of this crisis will undoubtedly be felt far beyond China's borders.